WWE Monday Night Raw comes to you live from the Scotia Bank Saddledome, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, the home of one Bret the Hitman Hart. Hello all, and welcome to Alyx's World, a safe space for wrestling fans like you. I'm your host, Alyx, just Alyx, and we are live for your WWE Monday Night Raw. Review the season premiere of Monday Night Raw for 2024, September 9th, 2024 to be exact. Man, summer is come and gone. What happened to summer? It looked like, I don't know what it was, but did summer just fly by this year? I felt like summer just started. I don't know what happened. You blinked and it was over. Fall is here, and we are heading into the latter part of the year for WWE, usually when things cool down, when things start to, how do I say? I don't want to say get lame or boring or, usually what people expect from WWE. Things just stop being important and you start watching other stuff. Because I still think WWE is in a very hot portion of their year. For me, especially nowadays, WWE tends to keep the ball rolling all the way up until Survivor Series when it comes to their storylines entering the latter part of the year. And this year is no different, especially now since WWE has entered one of the hottest periods it's ever had since the Attitude Era. I'll keep saying it because it's true. It feels like every single show just keeps bringing in more viewers, especially bigger crowds, and it's nice to see. It's very exciting as a wrestling fan to see WWE really knocking it out of the park almost weekly now. And their shows reflect the audience attendances. It's reflecting the momentum. I thought tonight's episode of Raw was another good show. I feel like, for the most part, stories are strong. The characters are strong. Feuds are hot. We're going to get Hell in a Cell. Rightfully so, at Bad Blood, appropriate name, appropriate pay-per-view. And the appropriate two people to have Hell in a Cell, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Man, it just feels good to have an appropriate Hell in a Cell match. One that warrants Hell in a Cell. Not just to do it because it's Hell in a Cell, but it's a match that warrants Hell in a Cell. And we already know, because it's CM Punk and Drew, expect there to be blood. You don't even need the WWE to tell you that there is going to be blood in this match. It has to be. There has to be blood in this match. I will be sorely disappointed of all the matches that we're going to get at Bad Blood if one of them doesn't have blood. Now, I do expect one or two matches to have some color. This is the one, Punk and Drew, that needs to have blood. I understand that WWE is PG, but you cannot have a Hell in a Cell match and not have blood. You cannot, especially this feud. So I'm not gonna push the issue too much. I'm just gonna say it once and then leave it alone. You gotta have at least one match have color at Bad Blood. Otherwise, what's the point? What's the point? I am excited for other matches that are happening on the show. We're going to get Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan again, as we predicted. Bron Breakker will be taking on Mr. Yeet, Jey Uso, for the IC title. I have a feeling that Jey Uso won this match, this fatal four-way match, just to lose to Bron Breakker, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I think Jey Uso is one of the most popular, one of the hottest acts in wrestling, not just in WWE, but period. He's one of the highest acts in wrestling. A man that should have a championship. A man that should be carrying one of the belts. But that's the downside to having a hot roster like the WWE has. When every single talent that's carrying the belt deserves to carry the belt, Unfortunately, you're going to get talent like a Jey Uso, like a Chad Gable, like a Bronson Reed, who aren't going to be able to hold them. And that's unfortunate. Is the match going to be good? Absolutely. But unfortunately, Bron Breakker is a Triple H project right now. He ain't losing that belt anytime soon. It sucks, but that's what it is. That's not a bad thing per se, but it just sucks that Jey Uso has all this momentum and it doesn't feel like we are going to capitalize on it anytime soon. And that, to me, sucks. Other matches that we can expect, I mean, we're doing Finn Balor and Damian Priest. That's a rightful match to do. That feels like an appropriate bad blood feud grudge match to do, of course. And I think that would be it for the Raw side. We don't really need anything else. Those matches will be good from the Raw side. SmackDown, you can already predict what SmackDown's going to be. You're going to get Kevin Owens and Cody again, and you'll probably get Roman and Solo. Which, hey, I'm fine with both of those happening. I don't see what we're going to be doing with the U.S. title yet. Maybe we'll be doing a fatal three-way. Sure. A three-way, Andrade, Carmelo, LA Knight. Or honestly, what I would do Carmelo and Andrade, have them finish up their series at Bad Blood, and the winner of that match gets LA Knight at Survivor Series or something like that. That's kind of where my head's at. But we'll figure that out when we get to SmackDown. As for Raw, I see a lot of people complaining, and these complaints are legit. I'm not going to knock anybody for feeling this way. Quite frankly, I've been feeling this way for a while too. Lots of people on social media are complaining that Raw isn't as exciting because it's too predictable. Yeah, it is. It's very predictable. Most of these matches that I basically called out, to be honest with you, most of you saw it coming from a mile away. I think everybody and their moms predicted we would get CM Punk and Drew McIntyre inside Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood. Way before it happened. People were calling for this match before CM Punk started wrestling at SummerSlam. Think about that for a minute. Think about how long ago that was. People have been predicting a Punk and Drew Hell in a Cell match way back before the summer. It is very predictable. But predictability only means good storytelling, because it can only go where logically it would go. So because the WWE is a logical storytelling company, instead of what Vince McMahon used to do where he would rip up the script 24/7, and so you don't know what was getting ready to happen, which made it unpredictable, but the stories didn't make any sense. So that's the other side. That's the other extreme. With WWE using long-term storytelling and logical storytelling, unfortunately, it does sometimes lead the shows to be very predictable. So you can see a lot of this stuff coming from a mile away, which is good. You want logical storytelling. At the same time, most of the shows won't be as exciting because you see it coming from a mile away. And so when you see, let's just say, a match between Dragon Lee and, what was it? It was Dragon Lee and Dominic Mysterio. You kind of already know, well, Judgment Day is going to interfere and Dominic's going to win, right? And that's exactly what happened. This is exactly what happened, because that's what they've been doing. But it makes sense. If they didn't interfere, you'd be like, what the hell? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It would be unpredictable. It would catch you off guard, like, well, I didn't expect that, but it wouldn't make any sense. That's the downside to it. Here's my thing. I'm okay with predictability as long as the shows are good either way. As long as the stories are tight. As long as the promos are good. As long as the wrestlers continue to have good matches. Fine. Give me a predictable show, but make it a good predictable show. Let me predict the show will be good. And so when I watch it, and you give me a show that was predictable but good, I can't complain. I can't complain. I will say, there was one thing I didn't predict. And that was Gunther telling Bret Hart that his favorite wrestler was Bill Goldberg. Yeah! Gunther! Oh, that was screwed up. Great heel promo. One of my favorite parts of the entire show. Died laughing. I died laughing when he told Bret Hart his favorite wrestler was Goldberg. I'm proud of you, Gunther. I'm proud of you. But outside of that, Sami Zayn came out, and you already knew he was going to come out. The moment Gunther showed up with Bret Hart, most of y'all were looking towards the entrance like, okay, when is Sami coming? And there he is. And then that's how we're getting Gunther versus Sami Zayn. I'm assuming at Bad Blood 2. And I think that rounds out the Raw portion of Bad Blood. What is that, 5 matches? Let me go through it. So, Jey versus Braun, Sami versus Gunther, Punk versus Drew, Hell in a Cell. I'm assuming we're going to be doing Damian Priest and Finn, and then Rhea and Liv. Yeah, 5 matches. So that leaves SmackDown to give us Cody versus KO, Roman versus Solo. If we're doing that match, I would do it at Bad Blood. Don't hold that off anywhere past Survivor Series, honestly. And maybe LA Knight in a match. Again, LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, and Andrade. Although I would just make that Carmelo Hayes Andrade. And that's it. That would be Bad Blood. Low key? That's a fire ass card. But the more I think about it, I'm like, wait, that's an awesome card. Yo, that's a really good card. I'm sitting on it. I'm really sitting on this. I love this card. If that's the direction they're gonna go in, is it predictable? Yes, but come on now. Y'all would be lying to me if you said that you were not excited for that card I just laid out for you. Easily, probably the best card they've done all year since WrestleMania. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's gonna be hard to top this card. But we'll see. We'll definitely see what they're gonna do with SmackDown on Friday, the season premiere of SmackDown on the USA Network, which I am seeing. This is just off of the Uverse tab where I was trying to record SmackDown. I noticed that SmackDown this Friday is 3 hours. It has a 3-hour time slot. So it hasn't announced SmackDown will be 3 hours yet. But I did see that it's occupying 3 hours for this Friday. The next week is just back to 2 hours. But I think USA Network, because we'll talk about this later on in the stream, because Raw is moving to 2 hours. Yes, we did it. Raw's moving back to 2 hours. Congratulations. We'll talk about it, I promise. I have a feeling that SmackDown is going to make up for it and move to 3 hours. That's what I think is going to happen. Because Monday Night Raw, soon to be SmackDown, is their flagship show. USA Network relies heavily on Raw and now SmackDown to promote all of their shows and most of their advertising. No other show on the USA Network comes close to the numbers that WWE does. So because it is their top show, most of their big-time advertisers are going to be put on this show. And so, it probably means, again, I don't know, I could be wrong. I would love for both of the shows to be 2 hours. But understand me, it could probably mean that SmackDown will be going 3 hours, as Raw goes to 2 hours when it moves to Netflix. I don't like it. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So let's enjoy Raw being 2 hours and SmackDown being 2 hours for the remainder of the year while we have it. Because I have a feeling when the new year starts, SmackDown will be going to 3 hours and Raw will be going to 2. So it's the same problem. We're just switching shows. It sucks. I agree. We have no control over it. What are we going to do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Regardless, As long as the shows are good and it doesn't feel like a 3-hour show, I'll be okay. But it's SmackDown, so I'm worried. We'll get to that when it becomes an actual thing. But as for tonight, let's get to the Raw review. Let's get to the news. We're all going 2 hours and other stuff that has come out. And then we will definitely see what you guys have to say in the live chat afterwards. So let's pay these bills. Let's go ahead and get to the sponsorship. Let's talk about what's going to happen in the future during the live chat where I shout your names out. And any other church announcements and business news, we'll get to that during that time. So if this is the first time you're watching me, do me a solid favor. Like the video, subscribe, and click that bell to catch all my content when it comes out. Wow, you're at it. Help expand the brand by doing the following things. Join the membership. Click that join button and get the opportunity to request a video of your choosing, whether it's a live reaction, a hot topic, or a review, past, present, or future. Also, don't forget to give thanks. Hit that super thanks. If you would like to donate after the fact, you can also let me know. Facebook, follow me on Twitter, just Alyx Central. Give me a follow on Instagram. Give me a follow on Spotify. Give me a follow on Cameo. Give me a follow on Threads. Give us a follow on Discord. Keep the conversation going on Discord, but most importantly, give us a follow on TikTok. Why? Because I am the tickest of the talkers. Donate using PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, Venmo, and yes, Super Chats are officially on. You can donate at any point in time during the broadcast. Get your thoughts played live on the air. Email me at justalexsworld@gmail.com for business inquiries, just to say hi, and please get yourself a t-shirt today at Pro Wrestling Tees and Teespring. Are you a Just Alex guy? They get you an I'm a Just Alex guy t-shirt, hot off the press. Also get you an old school Gillespie t-shirt, get you a new school Alex's World t-shirt, but most importantly, get you a blonde hair, blue eyes, apple pie. My America. The remix, yeah. T-shirt made by It's J Knox and Fyre Heart. All this down below in the description box. Today's lovely partners, today's sponsors of the broadcast is SeatGeek. SeatGeek is here to give you a discount for any ticket purchase you want to get, whether it's a wrestling event or maybe it's a music concert, theater, musical, whatever tickets that you see available on the ticketing app, because it is the #1 ticketing app to purchase tickets here in the world. And here's the great thing about it. If you're someone that's looking to get a leg up, because it is expensive nowadays to buy anything, things are up. But you know what? Sometimes you need a leg up to help you get those tickets. And the one thing I can give you, if you use the promo code JustAlex, the promo code JustAlex at SeatGeek today, you can get you $20. I said $20 off any ticket purchase. So, if that's something you're interested in, then how's about we get a quick word from our sponsor, and then we will get to some shout-outs. Today's video is sponsored by SeatGeek. If you're a wrestling fan looking for access to great seats for any wrestling event near you, then you want to use this app. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek stands as the unrivaled #1 ticketing app in the market today. SeatGeek constantly delivers incredible deals on ticket prices. When you're exploring the app, keep an eye out for the special green dots that mark the best deals. What's even better is that every ticket you purchase is backed by SeatGeek's buyer guarantee, with the option to return your tickets and even swap them before the events. So here's an exclusive for you. If you click the link down below and use the promo code JustAlex, you can get $20 off your first purchase. Yes, $20 off any ticket that you purchase using the promo code JustAlex. This is a sweet deal that you could use literally right now. So don't wait. Click the link, download the app, and join the SeatGeek family today. As always, I want to thank all you lovely people for continuing to make me a part of your day. So, as always, please show your love to the Mod Squad, Ultra, Shine Nights and Fyre Heart, Elias, a Demon, New Japan Pro Wrestling Girl, Khalil does everything. Highway dealing danger, and of course Big MGM, because they help keep this a safe space for wrestling fans like you and like us. While you're at it, please be sure you like the video. The more you like the video, the more opportunities I will be given to be recommended here on YouTube. So help boost the algorithm by hitting that like button. Quick shout outs, really quick shout outs. Reminder, ladies and gentlemen, reminder that we will be going live for the rest. Well, let me see. Because I actually thought about taking a break at some point. But the more I look at the landscape of things, let's see, church announcements. We got Grand Slam. This is AEW included as well. So we have a lot of shows coming up. All the way till, basically all the way into Survivor Series, the more I think about it. Because you got Grand Slam coming up in just a few weeks. And then right after Grand Slam, it's Bad Blood. Right after Bad Blood, it's Wrestle Dream. And then a few weeks after that is that Saudi Arabia show, Crown Jewel. And then after that, it's Full Gear. And then after that, it's Survivor Series. And so we're not going to really have a period of time where I can take a break until December. And even then, like with December, I'll only be taking a few weeks off because we'll be doing World's End. So, am I really getting a break? No. So, usually around this time, I do lessen up on the live streams. I start pulling back so then I can come back stronger than ever. But for the most part, it feels like I'll be able to keep this thing going. I'll be able to keep it going for the rest of the year. Especially since I'll be doing an NXT. This is the other big announcement. I will be going live for the CW premiere of NXT, which will feature my girl Julia massacring Roxanne Perez. So I'm expecting that to be a great show, and I expect that stream to get a lot of attention. So if you're an NXT fan, be sure you tune in for that particular stream as well. As for the rest of the channel, let me see. Is there any other church announcements I gotta get through? I don't think so. I think we're good. So if you got any questions, just be sure you ask them and I'll get to you. Shoutouts. Let's make these quick because I do want to get to this wrestling news. We got JJ. Who let the dogs out? Who? JJ Bulldog. We got Hades. We got Dulcie Chatham, who I'm still waiting on to give me a nickname, sir. Dro Davidian from the world of A&B Convos. Good to have you here, Mr. Dro. We got Joe Wright. Now, Joe Wright said he just subscribed and has joined the live chat. Well, Mr. Joe Wright, you chose the right place to be. Good to have you here. I hope you enjoy yourself here in the live chat. We got Jonathan, Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights, Joe Arredondo, Joseph Winters, Your Goatness, Lauren Biggs. What is up, guys? What is up, mods? What is up, Alex? Let's have some fun tonight. Let's get shit popping. You already know. You know how we do. I see Aaron Teagle. I see Sean Swaby. Baby! Mr. Sean Swaby in his house. I think I also see King Tyler. Mr. King Tyler is here. Shadow Star. By the way, King Tyler, YouTube member. Good to have you here, sir. Always good to see the YouTube members in the his house. I think we're gonna go ahead and move things along here, with King Tyler being the last shout out here for today. Again, we have a lineup of news to get to, and then we have a review. So we're gonna go ahead and move things along. Super chat donations are on. Get them in when you have a chance. And we're gonna move right along with the rest of the show. WWE announced on social media that finally, after what feels like a full decade of begging and pleading for Monday Night Raw to go back to 2 hours, we had all the excuses. Well, it can't happen. We can't go back to 2 hours because advertisers and the amount of money they make, why would they lose money by making it go back to 2 hours? Shut up. Shut up. All the excuses in the world don't mean a goddamn thing. You can make just as much money on a 2-hour show as you do a 3-hour show if the quality is high. And our argument has always been these 3-hour shows just make things feel bloated and it's tiresome and no one wants to watch. So what's the point of having a 3-hour show with advertisers on it when no one is willing to watch it. You're just wasting money, and you're not making as much money as you would. A 2-hour show that has more viewers is a lot more enjoyable, right? So, after decades of begging the WWE to go back to 2 hours, they finally listened. Because starting on October the 7th, the Monday after Bad Blood, WWE Monday Night Raw will be moving back to 2 hours. That is not a troll job. I'm not kidding you. The show is going back to 2 hours. It says here, on the September 9th edition, Joe Tessitore announced that Raw would be returning to a 2-hour format starting on October 7th, and the WWE confirmed the announcement on social media, and also noted that the change will last through the remainder of 2024. This should be the case permanently. So when it moves to Netflix, it won't have any commercial interruptions. So they'll be able to do an entire show all the way through, and they can go somewhere between 2 to 2.5. So regardless of whether it's just going to be 2 hours for the remainder of the year or not, I think this is it. Raw is moving away from 3 hours, and I couldn't be happier. Hallelujah. Not hallelujah, but hallelujah. I think, for me, 3-hour shows once in a while, when it's called for, is perfectly fine. But weekly, it's just too long. It's not just too long for the viewer, but it also raises costs for the production team and for the people who are writing for the shows. For me, if you cut things down across the board, things just improve. 2 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown. That allows whatever creative they have for those shows to flow a lot better. It feels a lot more compact. It doesn't feel as bloated. The downside to that is we don't get as many people on the shows, which means less opportunity for the talent. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that with this roster, because WWE's current main roster is not saying that they're bad talent, but they're basically green. A lot of these talents were just called up from NXT. They're still trying to find their footing. I think it would be good for them to just kind of take a step back from the 3 hours and utilize the talents that are popping, right? The ones that are really good should get those 2 hours. Make them step up their game. Again, this isn't the same era as Vince McMahon when you had 2 hours of Raw and then John Cena would occupy 30 minutes of it, right? Vince's favorites would occupy a good portion of it. Here, Triple H's favorites will occupy a good portion of it. No, I'm joking. Here, I feel like they would utilize the 2 hours more to fit whatever story they got going on. Less is more. Less is more. The show will fly by a lot faster, too. Trust me. So, I am excited to see how things will go. As I told you, though, just because Raw is going back to 2 hours doesn't mean the USA Network is done with 3-hour shows. I have a feeling that SmackDown will be moved to 3 hours. Not permanently. Starting next, not even next week, starting next episode, as in this Friday, it will be 3 hours. But I think they're going to be testing it out to see if advertisers will bite. Because again, we're talking about WWE having the top ratings on a network. This is the show, or these are the shows that get the most viewers out of anything on the USA Network, which means this is where most of the advertiser money is going. This is how the network stays a network and how they maintain their business. So we currently have 2 hours of Raw and 2 hours of SmackDown. So we don't really need to do any more than that for the rest of the year. But the moment they lose Raw, and also someone just told me NXT, so 2 hours of SmackDown, 2 hours of NXT, and then 2 hours of Raw. That's plenty of TV time. Plenty of advertiser room for them. But you're getting ready to lose. Check this out. You're getting ready to lose NXT to the CW, and you're getting ready to lose Raw to Netflix. So now, the only show USA Network will have is SmackDown. And that will become their flagship show. So what ends up happening when that's the case? I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen when that's the case. SmackDown will have to go to 3 hours to make up for that loss. Do I think it's a good idea? No. I don't think any wrestling show should be 3 hours. Permanently. Once in a while, sure. Big episodes of Raw going 3 hours, I'm all for it. But this is USA Network. This is NBC. NBC wants their money. What are you going to do? So, again, it hasn't been officially announced yet. But do not be surprised. After Raw gets moved permanently to 2 hours, 2 hours and a half, SmackDown gets moved to 3 hours. I'm just saying, don't be upset. Don't get mad at me. I'm just saying that's what it looks like. Is it a good idea? Hell nah. But what you gonna do? What is the WWE gonna say? Nah, we don't like it. You know how much money USA Network's paying them? A lot. Money you can't count. Exactly. So guess what's going to happen? If they want 3 hours, fine. We'll find a way to fill up that 3 hour SmackDown somehow. Look here. Raw being 3 hours, with the roster they have, makes sense. I don't know how the hell SmackDown is going to work with 3 hours. It doesn't have the roster for it. So it's going to feel very bloated. And it's not going to come across very strongly. But let's see what they do. We're going to see how they make that work. Give me your thoughts on Raw going back to 2 hours and SmackDown potentially going to 3. In other news, PW Insider reports that Kiana James, remember that name? Remember Kiana James, that one NXT call-up that was supposed to be an assistant to Adam Pearce, but then just disappeared? And we're like, where did she go? Wait, what happened to this woman? Kiana James. Well, apparently, and this is coming from PW Insider, she suffered an injury. Usually, if they're off TV for a while, that basically means, yeah, we're either injured, number one, or pregnant. She had a baby. That's usually what happens. Or unless you're Odyssey Jones and you did something stupid, which is not always the case. In this instance, yeah, as soon as I saw that she was off TV for a while, I figured that, yeah, that she's probably pregnant or she's injured. And it ended up being she's injured. Oh my God. She said, adjudicate and bounce. I love that. Adjudicate and bounced. Freaking law people. Anyways, yeah, she's out for a while. They said she's gonna be out upwards towards 6 months. And the kind of leg injury she has, yeah, expect her to be out for the rest of the year. Probably 6 to 9 months. I don't expect to see her until after WrestleMania. That's a long time to be out, too. That sucks for her. But you know what? Hey, she's young. This is a good time for her to really think about if this is what she wants to do. She can always come back. And the time she comes back, they'll be on Netflix. So, a whole new fresh start for her. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, she had one match, and she won that match, and then that's it. We never saw her again. This isn't wrestling news, but quickly, we lost a big name in the entertainment industry, and it is something that I think we should all talk about. James Earl Jones, the voice actor of, oh my goodness, so many. Well, the main ones, Mufasa from The Lion King, and of course, Darth Vader, the Sith Lord from Star Wars. Passed away in 93. My childhood, man. That's my childhood. It hurts. It hurts when you start to realize that everything you grew up with is, it's leaving you. But that's just a natural part of life. Everybody will go through it. It just sucks that, and I said this on Twitter, why is it that all the good people leave us? And then we're stuck with Logan Paul and people like Logan Paul. It's not fair, man. It ain't fair! But rest in peace to James Earl Jones, and I hate the fact that is someone that we ended up losing. I mean, it's not that long ago we lost Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman. That one hurt too. That's another childhood hero that really, really meant a lot to me. But what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Rest in peace. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we already mentioned one half of it. Logan Paul. Let's talk about Kevin Nash. Oh yeah, you knew this story was coming. So Kevin Nash, on a recent edition of his podcast, Click This, discussed Logan Paul. And when talking about Logan Paul, and not knowing what a shoot meant, because those of you who haven't seen his interview with Hulk Hogan on the Impulsive podcast, Logan Paul's podcast. And Hulk Hogan was talking about shoot and work. And Logan Paul's like, what's that? What's the difference between a shoot and a work? I don't know what that is. Huh? What's that? And you're like, bullshit. You don't know what that is. How is it that this guy's a former champion and doesn't know the difference between a shoot and a work? Well, Kevin Nash was not very happy about this. There's a lot of cuss words in this response, but I'm gonna see if I can actually read what he said while bleeping out the stuff that's bleeped. So here's what he had to say. He's not one of the boys. Where would he learn that beep at? That shit at, if you're wondering. Where is he effing going up and down the road, effing talking about our effing jargon? In the building? Everyone's in their own effing motor couch. There's no effing interaction. There's no socialization. You don't become one of the boys just because you're around them. That mother effer, from what I heard, he's making like $5 million for a limited effing, and those other Jesus Christ, he really was cussing up a storm. And those other mother effers are out there making those house shows. F you. I don't give an F how many people are following you. If it said you had effing 24 effing million-year-old scholars following you, mother, damn. I would be like, dude, you are an effing Jesus. You are a bunch of effing idiots. So, Kevin's a fan. Clearly, he doesn't like Logan Paul. And yeah, it is one of those things where it's like, bro, so here you are, getting this big opportunity, making all this money. You're a former champion. You're getting a big stage like WrestleMania, big stages to wrestle for the world titles, the championship titles. And you don't want to take the time to understand, respect, learn the business. Yeah, I would get why he's upset. I would totally get why he's upset. Then Logan Paul decided, hey, since you want to talk shit, I'm going to respond. And yeah, we are going to listen to what Logan Paul had to say to Kevin Nash. So, brace yourself. Here we go. I don't want to have to listen to his voice. I'm going to puke, but here we go.
I got people messaging me. They're like, yo, Kevin Nash is talking shit about you. I said, damn, who is Kevin Nash? And I mean that. I'm unfamiliar with this guy, which I think is his problem. I'm not as versed in the WWE and in wrestling as maybe I should be, as my peers are. But then how am I so much better than all of them? You know, I don't have the answers to these questions. It is a question. I don't know how I could be the best in the WWE or at least one of the best. Like, I'm surely a top fiver, and I don't even do it full time. Now imagine if I did learn a little bit. Imagine if I devoted, came one of the boys, learned what the difference between a shoot and a work was. Will that make me a champion? Fuck me. Fuck you. You're one of the old guys who is bitter that I am better at your job than you ever were.
Jesus
And that makes you pathetic. This will be my sport, and I will continue to make guys like you eat your words when I devote a little bit of time to it. So fuck me, fuck you.
Just so we're clear, this is not a work. Kevin Nash is not doing an angle with Logan Paul. He is not coming back to have a match with him at Bad Blood or Saudi Arabia or Survivor Series WrestleMania. This is real life. Logan was talking as if he actually believes he's better than Kevin Nash. And the sad part is that, yeah, I do believe him when he says he doesn't know who Kevin Nash is. The lack of respect for one of the Hall of Famers, one of the greatest performers to ever walk through a wrestling ring. Not just WWE, not just WWF or WCW. Kevin Nash is one of the best in-ring big men this sport has ever seen. He was involved in a multitude of one of their biggest angles. NWO included. And Logan Paul doesn't know who he is. At the very least, you might not know about him. You might not have watched him growing up. But did you hear the lack of respect? The lack of respect in those words he used. Where does this guy get off? Again, you can sit here all day and tell me Logan Paul is a great athlete inside the ring, and no one's going to take that away from him. My biggest issue with Logan Paul from day one, and it continues to be the problem even now, is that he is, and forever will be, a grade A asshole. He is a scumbag, a boil on the ass of life, and he's not even playing a character. He is a bona fide jackass. And it's stuff like this that really, really makes me despise that the WWE ever got in bed with him. And one of these days, mark my words, clip this, save it, because it is going to happen. Logan Paul is going to say and or do something really stupid and unforgivable that the WWE is going to have no choice but to fire his ass. Because that's the kind of person Logan Paul is. And you guys know I'm right. Don't pretend that he's changed or he's a different man because he's having good wrestling matches. He's a jackass. He's disrespectful. He doesn't care about the business. What he cares about is Logan Paul. I guess that's why him and Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan, get along so well. What a disrespectful punk. For real. To say that about Kevin Nash, who, let's just call it like it is, when Kevin Nash was in his prime, I guarantee you, Logan Paul wouldn't come nowhere near the star power he is. Nowhere near. We can sit here all day and talk about all the followers that Logan Paul has. And he has a ton of them. You ain't even in Kevin Nash's league, son. You're nowhere close to Kevin Nash. You worked yourself into a shoot, you dumb mark. What's up, A&B Combos? Good to have you here. I should have asked you about this. I should have asked you about Logan Paul and Kevin Nash when you were doing your live stream. But guess what? You'll be having yourselves a very special live stream. Well, you're talking about SmackDown too, right? Never mind. You're probably talking about it on SmackDown. But you'll be doing your Saturday night's main event live stream or Sunday night main event whenever you're doing it. You can talk about it there. You can have your rant on Logan Paul and Kevin Nash then. But trust me, I really don't like the fact. I really don't like the fact that this, again, he's talented. We know he can wrestle. We know that every sport that he's been involved in, he's excelled at because he's a natural athlete. No one's taking that away from him. I just wish he wasn't such a hateable fucking asshole. He is, in all aspects, an Andrew Tate, who is also somebody that is an utter asshole that people are inspired by. We're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into politics. We're not going to get into it. But fuck Logan Paul. There's your weekly fuck Logan Paul from Just Alyx. And again, mark my words. He is definitely gonna do something or say something really stupid. And when it happens, remember who called it. Who am I kidding? You all see it coming. All of you are competent. All of you are smart enough to know what an asshole he is. And you know eventually he'll fuck himself over. You're just enjoying him while you got him. I got it. So give me your thoughts about the wrestling news, 2 hours of Raw, Keon James, Logan Paul, and other stuff we talked about. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get to what you're really here for. And that is Monday Night Raw live and the Scotia Bank Saddledome, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. This show was highlighted with the return of Bret the Hitman Hart. But I thought there was a lot of good things to come out of this show. Like I said before, is Monday Night Raw predictable? Yes. For the most part, it is a show that you can see a lot of this stuff happening before it even happened. I'm pretty sure a lot of you predicted that the Wyatt Sicks would beat American Made. A lot of you predicted that Jey Uso was going to win the Fatal 4-Way. Some of you even predicted that Bronson Reed would be going out there to take out freaking Braun Strowman. A lot of you predicted that Hell in a Cell would be the final match for CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, and that's going back months. A lot of you predicted Rhea Ripley would have another match with Liv Morgan. Does that mean the show is bad? No. Still a good show. It's just predictable. And when things are predictable all the time, it's not as fun. It's not as exciting. But it makes sense. And that's the downside. That's the downside to long-term storytelling. When things make sense, they get predictable. And you can see it coming. Sometimes that's what you want. You want predictability. You want to be able to see this stuff coming because it gives you a sense of comfort and you start to enjoy it more. But after a while, you need to throw a wrench in there. And that's something Triple H got away from. One of the things about NXT takeovers that I miss was that at least once a takeover, Triple H would throw us a swerve. Something would catch us off guard. Everything else would go as predicted, but then he would throw us a swerve somewhere where it's like, whoa, didn't see that one coming, right? I would like it. I would love it if we got some kind of a swerve at Bad Blood. What would that swerve be? Who knows? But let it be something we don't see coming. Personally, I would love it if Kevin Owens beat Cody Rhodes for the world title, but that's not going to happen. I can't get what I want. We're not going to get that kind of a swerve. If anything else, if we were to do a swerve at Bad Blood, probably Jey Uso would probably beat Bron Breakker. That would be the swerve that I can see happening. But I don't see it happening. I think Bron Breakker, unfortunately, is going to retain that title. Spoiler alert. But Monday Night Raw was still a good show. They opened up with the Wyatt Sicks versus American Made. America! Excuse me. That's the wrong one. What I meant to say was, proud to be an American and a big Chad Gable fan. Thank you! Match was awesome. It is fun watching the Wyatt Sicks perform inside the ring. They just work so well with each other. They do. All of them. All 5 of them are just a great bunch. And it's such a great tribute to Bray Wyatt. Nikki Cross was the highlight of this match. Homegirl did a German suplex that looked beautiful on Chad Gable. Got a big pop for it. Loved it. And as you would predict, because it is predictable, the Wyatt Sicks won. So here's my thing. This is what I talk about. This is what I mean where I say it would have been nice if he threw a Rich and some of this stuff. I think this would have been the perfect match to give to American Made. Because American Made is such a great stable, and they have a ton of heat. When you have them lose all the time, that does kill their heat. It doesn't make people take them seriously. And so what I would have done for this match, I would have had American Made win. You could have had freaking Ivy Nile pin Nikki Cross. That's what I would have done. But they're not going to do that. They weren't going to do that. And you know why. Because the Wyatt Sicks is very popular. It's one of their hottest acts. You don't want to beat them. But man, like, it would have been nice if you, for this one in particular, if you threw a wrench in the plans here. But that didn't happen. The Wyatt Sicks do win. Big ups to them. Big props to them. Great stable. I think this needs to be it. We need to move on from American Made and the Wyatt Sicks. We do. We need to get on with something else. So we'll see what they do with that. We had Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair taking on the Unholy Union. Like I said before, I think all of you saw that Jade and Bianca were not losing those belts, and guess what? They didn't. They retained, as they should have. I mean, it is what it is. It's not like it was a bad match. It was just predictable. You know what I mean? So, Jade and Bianca do win. We get to Finn Balor coming out, calling out Damian Priest, saying, get your ass inside this week. I got something to say to you. Damian comes out, says, you got 5 minutes before I whoop that ass. Finn tells him, you made me a sidekick. And Finn Balor, is no sidekick. And so I want to match with you at Bad Blood. Damian's like, bet. So can we fight now? And Finn's like, oh, you poor soul. You know how this works. Get him, boys. And Judgment Day runs out. And like previous episodes, Judgment Day gets the number advantage over Damian Priest. Rhea tries to come out. They beat up Rhea Ripley too. So Judgment Day gets a one-up, another one-up on Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. So guess what happens next week? Rhea and Damian would get a one-up on them, and then that will be the back and forth we get until October. So it is one of those things where I'm just like, look, does it make sense? Yes. But it would be nice to break it up a little bit. Like, can we do something different with Rhea, Liv, Damian, Dominic, like Finn? Like I would like it. Here's what I would like to see, just to kind of break up the mold a little bit. So we see that Rhea is into Jey Uso, right? What if they did a segment where Jey Uso and Rhea go on a date, right? And then they're eating at some type of a restaurant, let's just say. And then we see Dominic Mysterio and Liv show up at that same restaurant, right? And there's tension there. Then you can have them do something, maybe take shots at one another. Eventually it ends in a brawl. You can have Bron Breakker somehow show up there, and then you can have them attack Jey and Rhea Ripley. Like, just that's what I mean. Like, mix it up a little bit. Don't just have them show up inside the ring and just be like, hey, I called you out, let's fight. And then they win 1 week and they win 1 week. Like, mix it up. Take it outside the freaking... take it outside the building. Waffle House. A Waffle House date. Let's go. That's what I mean. Like, do something that we don't see coming. Although a date is predictable too. It's better than nothing. Would Rikishi like it? No. But does Rikishi have better ideas? Besides go to AEW? I love Rikishi, but bro, like, what are you expecting them to do? I'm just saying. The freaking Judgment Day meet up with the LWO, and then they announce some matches. Dominic Mysterio's taking on Dragon Lee, and then Finn Balor's taking on Rey Mysterio. Cool. And then we see the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be, Bret Hart. 67 years old, and he still looks good. He looks good. He looks good, and he's still Bret. You hear him talk in the microphone, sounds like Bret, acts like Bret, still got that charisma to him. A lot of people have soured on Bret Hart lately. Well, as of lately. Because they just feel like he's a bitter old man. You know, he's not a fan of a lot of the things that are happening with wrestling nowadays. And a lot of that is bitterness, as you would expect. And there's a lot of people who just say, you know, it's hard to take him seriously because it feels like he doesn't love the sport anymore. And we have to understand something about Bret Hart. And this is something that people should take to heart. No pun intended. Is Bret Hart bitter? Is he an angry old man? Here's my question to you. Why wouldn't he be? Why wouldn't Bret Hart be a bitter old soul? Think about what happened to him in his prime. During his glory years, the peak of his career, the 90s. This man was untouchable inside the ring. In my opinion, when Bret Hart was in his prime, no one was better inside the ring. He literally was the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. And I mean that. In his prime, he was a better wrestler than Stone Cold Steve Austin, than Hulk Hogan, than The Undertaker, than The Rock, than Shawn Michaels, than Triple H, than Macho Man Randy Savage, than Ric Flair, than Rey Mysterio, than Kurt Angle. The only person, in my opinion, the only person to come anywhere close to being as good as Bret Hart inside the ring was a couple. I could argue Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle in his prime was, my goodness. For real, like Kurt Angle, Bryan Danielson, and thou who should not be named, Chris Benoit. Like, those are the only three wrestlers that come to mind right now that come close, really close to how good Bret Hart was. Maybe Mr. Perfect. So you have this man in his prime get screwed over, Montreal Screwjob. And they did screw him over. We can talk about Bret not wanting to do business, not wanting to lose the belt to Shawn Michaels. You can say he didn't do things the right way. He was unprofessional about it. Fine, that could be true, but he did get screwed over. He was fucked over out of that world title. And then he left for WCW. When he left for WCW, his brother Owen Hart died due to a stupid incident that shouldn't have never happened. As the Blue Blazer. We already know about it. His Raptor rope broke. He fell to his death. Didn't need to happen. Didn't need to happen. And Vince McMahon refused to take responsibility for it. Martha Hart, for decades, wanted nothing to do with the WWE. And then, To make matters worse, his career was ended by Goldberg kicking him in the head and giving him a stroke. Kicked him so hard that Bret had a stroke and his career was over. We have a man who didn't get to retire on his own terms, who never really got to experience wrestling at its hottest. A lot of these Bret Hart fans, just like Bret, are bitter because of that. Because the peak of wrestling was 1997 to about 2001, maybe even 2002, right? That was the hottest period ever for professional wrestling. You can argue the 80s as well was hot, but the hottest period was that point. Bret, unfortunately, was not able to experience that with WWF. Now, he was in WCW during that time, but they rarely used him. They rarely used Bret Hart in WCW. Criminally misused him. And then when they did use him, he got injured by Goldberg. He did win the world title at one point. He beat Chris Benoit for it, dropped it, and then got injured by Goldberg. And that was it. That was the end of his career. Imagine all that happening to you. Wouldn't you be bitter too? Wouldn't you be bitter as well? I'm surprised he's still here. I'm surprised he's still showing up. That's a testament to how much he loves wrestling. Because anybody else that went through what Bret Hart went through would want nothing to do with wrestling after this. He should hate wrestling. He should despise every aspect of it. But here he is, showing up on Raw. And the fans still love him. So yeah, I do believe Bret Hart is the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. When you think about him in his prime, the excellence of execution, no one was better. No one was better. So he showed up tonight. And then he's interrupted by Gunther, the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther, who then tells Bret Hart in the line of the night that Bret Hart is old, he's past his prime, he is now the second best there is because Gunther is now the best. In fact, he's not even Gunther's favorite wrestler. And we all expected Gunther to say Shawn Michaels. Because I'm like, well, here we go. He's going to say Shawn Michaels is his favorite. Gunther said, swerve, bitch. I swerve when I drive. My favorite wrestler is Bill Goldberg, the son of a bitch that ended your career. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was such a fucked up line, I couldn't help but laugh. That was pure gold. Pure excellence. Hilarious. The crowd laughed when he did that. I loved it. Gunther's really good. He is really good at this wrestling thing. This thing we call professional wrestling, at being a villain. As a result of his horrifically savage line, Sami Zayn comes out and Sami gets a rock star reception, as he always does in Canada. That crowd lost their minds for Sami. And he was wearing a, what is his name? Johnny Gaudreau? Gaudreau, right? Johnny Gaudreau? It's a hockey player that died in a car accident recently. Well, he was wearing his jersey. I think it was Matthew and Johnny Gaudreau, right? Gaudreau? Did I say it right? I think it's Gaudreau. But they passed away. And he was wearing their jersey. Crowd was chanting for them. And Sami basically said, you disrespected a legend. How dare you? This is one of the greatest of all time. Show some respect. Yeah, Logan! Show some respect, Logan! And then Sami challenged Gunther to a match for the world title at Bad Blood. Gunther said, nah, you're not ready. Goes to walk away. Bret said, you's a pussy. No, he didn't say that. He said, you's a coward. And Gunther said, what you say to me? They go outside. Sami follows him. They brawl. Referees and paramedics, officials separate them. And yeah, it looks like we're going to get the match of Bad Blood. Should be interesting. But rest in peace to Johnny and Matthew. That is a tragic story. I hate that they were taken away from us at such a young age. They were young, too. That's what really sucks. All right, let me fast forward through some of this. Dragon Lee loses to Dominic Mysterio as a result of, guess what? The Judgment Day interfering. Well, specifically Liv Morgan. Saw that one coming, did ya? Some of y'all like, what? They did? You knew that was going to happen. We see Damage Control, Io Sky and Kairi Sane meeting Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair backstage, saying, that's literally what they did. That's what Kairi did. And I'm like, all right, goddamn, what the fuck y'all want? I don't know what y'all looking at. Your patch over your eye. And Kairi actually had like a big patch over her eye after taking that dive outside last week and hitting her face on the announcer table. Like I think she got like 8 stitches on the inside, like this part of her eye. It's crazy. Sonya Deville, Zoe Stark, and Shayna Baszler, the pure freaking cringe, the PFC, I hate that name, took on Laura Valkyria, Zelina Vega, and a mystery partner. So, predictability. We're in Calgary, Canada. Bret Hart was on the show. Guess who their partner was? It was Tatum. What's her name from NXT? Tatum Paxley. No, it wasn't. It was freaking Natalya. It was Natalya. And the match went exactly how you predicted. Natalya gets inside the ring, gets the hot tag, and then wins the match with a sharpshooter. There was no other way that was going to end. It was going to end with them hitting a sharpshooter and the PFC going, spicy chicken. What? Yeah, seriously. That was, that's how the match went. Are you surprised? No! Here comes Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre comes out, talks about CM Punk, saying he's done with him and he wants to move on to the world title. And then he goes to talk to, well, he did mention he has a movie coming out. The movie is called The Killer's Game with Batista. I think I saw that being advertised. So yeah, he has a movie coming out this week. Are you guys gonna go see it? Then he went to go talk to Wade Barrett. He says Wade is one of the oldest friends that he's ever made and still has. They've gone to jail with each other. Barrett is the only voice fighting for him as CM Punk hurt not just him but the whole business. So why did he step in the way of him ending CM Punk last week? He tells Barrett that he's disappointed. And if he does it again, he's going to do something about it. And then Alan Pierce comes out and he says he's had enough. Enough is enough! And it's time for you know what. He comes out. He tells Drew. He talked to Punk. He says it's time for it to end. And he is going to sleep well at night because he told him, and it is official, it will be Bad Blood. It will be Drew McIntyre. And it will be CM Punk. Hell in a Cell! Tried to do the Vince McMahon. I don't think I did it right. I'm trying it again. Hell in a Cell! Close enough. I'll go with that. Finally, we all saw it coming. We all knew it was coming. This is how you end a feud. This is the right match to do. This is the right match to go with. And you know the match is going to be fucking awesome. I am excited. I am very excited to see these two inside Hell in a Cell. And yes, from what I am hearing, there will be blood. There has to be. There better, first off, be blood. But there has to be blood. It's called Bad Blood. One of these matches better have blood. Otherwise, what are we doing here? Now, this one, I guarantee you, I don't even think CM Punk would have done this match if there wasn't going to be any blood. So, yes, there will be blood. Is this the only match that's going to have blood? Nah. I have a feeling, my prediction, that whatever Cody and Kevin are going to do, that's also going to have blood. Hell, we might see. Actually, no, this is WWE. So, at best, one of them will probably have blood. So, okay, never mind. I take it back. Probably the only match that's going to have blood is Drew and CM Punk. As it should. And I'm excited for it. That's going to be, honestly, that might end up being one of the best matches all year for WWE. Because a few calls for it. CM Punk is showing up next week, and I am predicting we're going to get a pipe bomb promo. And I'm excited for it. Finn Balor lost to Rey Mysterio by DQ because he decided to hook him in the Achilles lock in the ropes, which was really, really cool. He hooked him in it, and the referee called for the bell because he wouldn't let go. But Rey looked good. Rey looked very good for the match that they had. Apparently, Rey got stem cell therapy, and he was able to get rid of some of that aching pain in his body, and he's better. And backstage, we see, of all people, Karrion Kross speaking to The Miz. The Miz is in a black suit. He's telling The Miz, you used to be so great. What happened to you? Being the devil on his shoulder, trying to turn him heel. You see Xavier Woods walk in, and Xavier's like, hey, what you doing? Don't listen to him. And Miz is like, but he's right. So, Miz heel turn coming. And then Kofi Kingston walked in. Kofi Kingston's like, hey, bro, we're coming up to the 10-year anniversary of the New Day. We're going to get a tag team title match next week. And I said, well, that's when they break up. I think if you're going to break up the New Day, it has to happen next week. It has to happen next week. It does suck that, what's his name, Odyssey Jones, basically, it does suck that Odyssey Jones, unfortunately, him not being there throws a complete monkey wrench in the entire process. But it does feel like, despite that, we're moving forward with the heel turn. Who turns heel? Good luck. I would have thought it would be Xavier Woods. I'm now thinking it's Kofi Kingston. With the way they were setting things up. So, yeah, I think this is a 10-year anniversary. 10 years is a long time. It's a long time. We can go ahead and cut it, end it here. And then the main event was that fatal 4-way, Braun Strowman, Ilja Dragunov, Pete Dunne, and main event, Yeet Jey Uso. Match was awesome, by the way. Especially that last 5-minute stretch where you saw Bronson Reed, almost said Bron Breakker, caught myself, but Bronson Reed dove off of the barricade and splashed Braun Strowman, too many Brons, through the table. Yeah, I did very good on that. Caught myself on that too. Put him through the table. That was an awesome moment. And from that moment, the match just picked up and it wouldn't stop. Ilja Dragunov is an excellent wrestler. Pete Dunne is very underrated. Apparently, he's fighting Whoop That Trick Williams tomorrow. So he's going to lose that match too. But as you would have predicted, as soon as you saw Jey Uso was in this match, you knew he was going to win. Guess what? He did win. And then the show was supposed to end with a stare-off between Bron Breakker and Jey Uso. But USA Network ran out of time, and then it cut off midway. So we didn't get to see the stare-off between Bron and Jey. Sucks. But, again, like, everything you saw tonight, it's not like because it was predictable, that means it was bad. I think when we get to Bad Blood, and I am expecting Bad Blood to be one of their best shows all year. I'm calling it now. WWE Bad Blood is going to be one of the best WWE pay-per-views all year. It has to be. If they go with the card I gave you, then I have a feeling this show is going to cook on so many levels. So yes, the weekly shows are predictable, but you know what? That just means the storylines are making sense. And I'm okay with that. So once again, just to kind of run down what we're looking at for Bad Blood, which is literally, it's a month away, and I already gave you the full card. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is why long-term storytelling is king. So we're going to get CM Punk and Drew, Hell in a Cell. That will be the main event, by the way. It has to be. I know we're in Cody's hometown, Atlanta, Georgia. You don't follow up Hell in a Cell with anything. So Punk and Drew, Hell in a Cell. Cody and Kevin Owens. Solo and Roman. Probably LA Knight, yeah. Carmelo Hayes and Andrade, or some version of LA Knight for the U.S. Championship. Again, I would rather them do Andrade and Carmelo Hayes, but whatever. They're probably going to do LA Knight for the U.S. title against one of those two. And then Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. Finn Balor, Damian Priest. Jey Uso, Bron Breakker. I was hoping we would get Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed. I don't see that happening now because they pretty much have filled out the card with a lot of these other matches. And then what match am I missing? What match am I missing here? I think I said Damian Priest and Finn Balor, Liv Morgan, CM Punk, and Drew. I'm missing one more. I'm missing Bron Breakker, Jey Uso. I missed. Okay, well, whatever match I'm missing, it'll come to me. You get the idea. But yeah, like I have a feeling that this is gonna be one of their best shows all year. It's gonna be one of their best shows all year, and you can't convince me otherwise that this show is not going to be awesome. I'm excited. Did I say Cody and Kevin already? See, this is why I need to write things down. We'll get to it later. But it's going to be a great show. And like I said before, there has to be blood. Sami and Gunther. Thank you. That's what it was. Sami Zayn and Gunther. See, I had to write things down. Sami Zayn and Gunther. See, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's, oh my God, that's a strong fucking card. That card's gonna be nuts, y'all. I'm excited for it. But anyways, give me your thoughts about Raw. Give me your thoughts about Bad Blood. Give me your thoughts about anything we talked about, including Logan Paul's dumbass in the live chat. Get your super chats in. Give me your thoughts about everything. Everything. And I do appreciate everyone for being here. So, live chat, you have the floor. What y'all in here talking about? Oh, before I forget, congratulations to the new International Super Chat champion. Omar Feliciano won the belt on Saturday by donating the most money, AEW All Out. 3 Diglets, unfortunately, was busy. He couldn't show up. But 3 Diglets is still the current Super Chat World Super Chat champion. And good luck taking that belt off of him. I prefer it this way. Honestly, I kind of like the idea that we have one belt for the undercard, for the people that just want to donate just a couple of dollars, the $20, the $30, the $50. And then like the 500s, the 200s, and the 300s can go for the world title. I like that better. That just seems a lot more fun, and I'm excited about that. But congratulations to Omar Feliciano for winning that belt. Gabriella Valentine. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I saw you here in the live chat, so good to have you here. And we're getting some regulars showing back up. You like to see it. Lauren Bates, your goatness says, say her name and she will appear. I believe in your goodness. I believe in your goodness. Well, your goatness. Good to have you here. Sean Swaby says, today we lost one of the greatest actors of all time. Yeah, we lost. Oh, man. James Earl Jones. It's just sad. That's just sad. Ultra Shadow is one of the main people begging Raw to go back to 2 hours, and he is happy. He's glad that it is going back to 2 hours, and he hopes that it's permanent. Same. How did Kiana James get hurt? I have no idea, but yeah, she's been out with a leg injury, and she's gonna be out for the rest of the year, probably until after WrestleMania. Why did Logan Paul talk about Nash? Because Nash talked about him on his Click show. And he disrespected him. That's so disrespectful. By the way, while you guys are here, please show your love to A&B Combos Wrestling Edition, the top premier reaction channel for professional wrestling here on YouTube. They are doing a live reaction of SmackDown on Friday, and of course their weekend Saturday, Sunday night main event. Be sure you tune in for that as well. One of the premier channels here in the YouTube space. You do not want to miss them. The Beep Jr. YouTube member, the Beep Jr. says, Liv beating Rhea could be a swerve. So how I see it is, Rhea wins the title back, but then her and Liv do one more match at Survivor Series. What that would be, I don't know. Maybe, if you wanted to, you could have Liv beat Rhea again, and that still sets up their third match, where Rhea wins the title back. So, you're probably right. But my prediction is Rhea wins the title back here at Bad Blood, and then they do one more to wrap up the feud. How do I feel about Dynamite Kid? Oh, the Dynamite Kid, that's another one that was a really good wrestler who we lost, unfortunately, way too soon. Oh yeah, Bret Hart. If you know about his story, you'll know why Bret Hart is bitter. He's a very bitter person, as you would expect him to be. Do I expect Roman versus Solo to happen at Bad Blood? I think it has to. I think it has to, because if we are doing the Bloodline Civil War for Survivor Series, and that's going to be our War Games match, then we have to, we really have to get that out the way. Because I do expect Roman to team up with Jey and Jimmy and maybe even The Rock to take on Solo and his crew, right? And then what I expect to happen is that The Rock will screw over Roman's crew, and then it will be Rock leading the new bloodline, and then that's how we get to Rock and Roman for WrestleMania. So we'll see how that works. We'll see how we get to make that a possibility, but we'll probably end up changing that around too. Let me see here. For me, finally, I'm glad Raw is going 2 hours. Hope they keep SmackDown 2 hours, and maybe in the future let NXT go an hour. Rip to one of my favorite voice actors, and I agree with Kevin Nash. Shadow Star, you ain't said nothing but a word. You ain't said nothing but a word, sir. A word. Darcy Chatham, a feud that needed Hell in a Cell is a much better than starting with Hell in a Cell needing a feud. Yeah, like, I'm sorry, like, it is one of those things where you don't really see feuds that call for Hell in a Cell, right? This one called for Hell in a Cell. I'm glad we got it. I say Liv should win, and they are kept away from each other until Mania season. Some fresh stories for each of them. Can you stretch this out to WrestleMania? You could. Maybe have Rhea win Royal Rumble again and fight Liv Morgan for the title at WrestleMania. You could. But do you want to? Right? Like, should you? I don't know. We'll figure that out. Yes, I did hear, and I did see a report that The Rock is scheduled to return around Survivor Series. So, I think we might be getting Rock and Cody. Probably at Royal Rumble or sometime around then. But we'll figure that out. We're going to see what they want to do. What they're going to be doing with that. By the way, give me your grades. Give me your scores for the show. Let me see what scores you guys gave me. King Tyler gave it a 7 out of 10. Dylan Danger gave it an 8 out of 10. JJ Bulldog gave it a 9 out of 10. Jari Dunne gave it a 10 out of 10. Joseph Winters gave it a 9 out of 10. Oh, so y'all really like the show. So like I said, is it predictable? Yes. But as long as it's a good, predictable show, then we don't have any issues. So I'm perfectly fine with it being predictable. If they stretch Rhea versus Liv to WrestleMania, I can see Rhea winning the Women's Royal Rumble if that's their plan. Okay, they could, but should they? Personally, this is a feud that should end at Survivor Series, and we can do... I would personally love it if we moved on from Liv and we did Rhea Ripley versus a Bianca Belair. A heel Bianca Belair. That's what I would do. Although we're probably going to get Bianca versus Jade Cargill, so that's not even going to be a thing. But then, like, who do you have? Who fights Rhea Ripley then? Man, that's a dilemma. That is a dilemma. Hopefully they figure that out. Because I'm assuming that long term, Tiffany Stratton is going to take that belt off of Nia Jax, probably at WrestleMania. Cash in on her, go babyface. And I don't know. This is going to be interesting. Yeah, I would think the way to go would be Bianca and Rhea, but Bianca's fighting Jade Cargill, so that's not going to be a thing. Damn. I guess we got to call Charlotte Flair. Do Charlotte Flair and Rhea again. Which I'm not against, honestly. Because their match at WrestleMania 39 was one of the best matches of the entire weekend. So. I mean, you could do Io Sky, but you would have to build her up a lot to make that work. Would you want to do Becky and Rhea again? Becky Lynch again? Nah, do someone else. Honestly, the more I think about it, they probably have no choice but to go with Rhea. And yeah, they might have to go with Liv and Rhea because there's no one else that's ready for that title. So we'll see what they do. Alright, guys, we're going to go ahead and end it here. So once again, this week we have a live review of SmackDown, AEW Dynamite this week. You know what? It is the fallout to All Out, so there'll be a live review for that as well. I don't see anything else happening in terms of PLEs and major events, pay-per-views until freaking Grand Slam. So yeah, there you go. We're just gonna be a chill month. We got a long ways to go before we get to Wrestle Dream and Bad Blood. So I hope you guys tune in for these live streams going forward for the rest of September. But in the meantime, thank you all for being here. As you file out, do all the YouTube things, like the video, subscribe, and click that bell to catch all my content when it comes out. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and donate using PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and Venmo. Love you all, and please take care of yourselves. Always know you are welcome right here in Alex's world. The place it is, was, and forever will be a safe space for wrestling fans like you. I'm out. Deuce. When you're